My BF insisted on sleeping with his female roommate because he was gay, but I found her journal and discovered they were having an affair behind my back. I, 25M, have been crying nonstop this Christmas and really need advice. My boyfriend Noah, 24M, and I have been together for 6 months and things were perfect until I discovered some disturbing things about his relationship with his roommate. I met Noah at our local LGBT center where I volunteer on weekends. He had just started coming to the support group meetings, having recently come out to his family. We instantly clicked over our shared love of indie music and horror movies. He was funny, caring, and seemed to understand me in a way no one else had before. Our first date was at a small coffee shop where we talked for hours about everything from our coming out stories to our dreams for the future. Noah told me about his conservative family struggle to accept him, and how his best friend Bree, 28F, had been his rock through it all. I was touched by their friendship and how she had supported him through such a difficult time. I currently live with my parents and am planning to move out next month. Noah lives in a 3-bedroom house with Bree, whom he met 4 years ago in college. They became friends after being paired for a group project and have been inseparable since. When I first started dating Noah, I thought their closeness was sweet. They had inside jokes, cooked meals together, and seemed to have the kind of friendship everyone dreams of. 2 months into our relationship, I stayed over at their house for the first time. I assumed Noah and I would sleep in his room, but he casually mentioned that he usually sleeps in Bree's room. When I asked why, he explained that they had been sleeping in the same bed for the past year. He said it started when he was going through severe depression after coming out, and having someone next to him helped with his anxiety. I tried to be understanding at first. After all, Noah is gay and Bree is a woman, nothing could happen between them, right? But something about their sleeping arrangement made me deeply uncomfortable. My last relationship ended because my ex cheated on me with his straight best friend who later turned out to be not so straight. The trauma from that betrayal still affects me. Every time I brought up my concerns about their sleeping arrangement, Noah would get defensive. He accused me of being controlling and said I was trying to change who he was. He insisted his friendship with Bree was non-negotiable and that I needed to accept it if I wanted to be with him. Things got more complicated when I learned that Noah and Bree had slept together 5 weeks before we started dating. Noah swore it was a drunken mistake that meant nothing to either of them. But Bree's behavior tells a different story. From the moment we met, she has been cold and hostile towards me. She makes snide comments about how she knew Noah first and how some things are just between best friends. Last month, we all went to a concert for Noah's favorite band. During a slow song, Bree got emotional and wrapped her arms around Noah's neck. She was crying and kept kissing his neck and cheek, all while shooting glances in my direction. When I tried to talk to Noah about it later, he said she was just drunk and emotional about the song. But her behavior seemed more like a jealous lover than a platonic friend. Bree also has a habit of accidentally walking in on us when Noah and I are having private moments. She'll barge into his room without knocking, or suddenly need something from the bathroom when we're showering together. Once, she even climbed into bed with us in the middle of the night, claiming she had a bad dream. The situation reached a breaking point this Christmas. After multiple fights, Noah and I had reached a compromise that he would limit sleeping with Bree to once a month. He promised to start sleeping in his own room more often, especially when I stayed over. I thought we were finally making progress. But today, Noah casually mentioned that he's been sleeping in Bree's bed for the past 2 nights. When I got upset, he turned it around on me and said I was being ridiculous. He asked why I couldn't trust him when he's given me no reason not to. But hasn't he? The constant boundary crossing, the defensive behavior, the way he prioritizes Bree's feelings over mine, it all feels wrong. What makes this harder is that Noah is my first serious relationship since coming out. Before him, I had almost given up on finding someone who would understand and accept me. We connect on so many levels, and when Bree isn't around, everything is perfect. He makes me feel loved and valued in a way I've never experienced before. But I can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. The way Bree looks at him, how protective she is of their relationship, and how defensive Noah gets when I express concerns, it all feels too familiar. I've been through this before, watching my ex slowly pull away while insisting nothing was wrong with his friendship. I've blocked Noah's number because I need space to think. My friends are divided, some say I'm overreacting since Noah is gay, while others think their relationship is inappropriate regardless of sexuality. I feel like I'm going crazy. Am I being irrational for not wanting my boyfriend to share a bed with someone else? Should I just accept their sleeping arrangement since he says he's gay? Or am I right to feel uncomfortable? I really need outside perspective because I can't tell anymore if I'm letting my past trauma cloud my judgment or if my instincts are trying to protect me from another heartbreak. Update 1: After my initial post, I took everyone's advice to step back and think things through. After blocking Noah on Christmas, I couldn't bear to be alone with my thoughts at home, so I went to stay with my best friend Matt. He's known me since high school and was there for me during my last breakup, so he understood what I was going through. Noah kept trying to reach me through different channels. He called my parents, messaged our mutual friends, and even showed up at the LGBT center during my volunteer hours. His messages ranged from worried to angry, 1 minute saying he was concerned about my mental state, the next accusing me of being immature by blocking him. After a week of no contact, I finally agreed to meet him at a cafe last weekend. I chose a public place because I didn't trust myself to maintain boundaries in private. When I arrived, Noah looked terrible. He said he hadn't been sleeping well, ironically, since he had Bree to cuddle with every night, and that he missed me desperately. He launched into what seemed like a rehearsed speech about how sorry he was for dismissing my feelings. He claimed he had a long talk with Bree, and they both agreed to set better boundaries. Noah promised to sleep in his own room from now on and said he understood why their closeness made me uncomfortable. He even showed me a photo of his cleaned up room, saying he was ready to make it his primary sleeping space again. I wanted so badly to believe him. The way he looked at me with those sincere brown eyes, reaching across the table to hold my hand, it was everything I'd been missing. So against my better judgment, and ignoring Matt's warnings, I agreed to give our relationship another chance. 3 days ago, I went to Noah's house to help him pack. He's supposed to move in with me next month when my new apartment lease starts, and we had planned to sort through his things together. While he was taking a shower, I was going through his closet, separating clothes he wanted to keep from ones to donate. That's when I accidentally knocked over a box of books. As I was picking them up, I noticed a leather-bound journal. The cover had Bree's name on it, and it was filled with recent entries. I know reading someone's private journal is wrong, but something in my gut told me to open it. The first entry I saw was from 2 months ago, right when Noah and I had our first fight about his sleeping arrangement with Bree. She wrote about how much she loved falling asleep in Noah's arms, how their bodies fit perfectly together, and how she wished they could be more than friends. But what really made my stomach turn were the entries from before Noah and I started dating. Contrary to what Noah told me about their one-night stand being a drunk mistake, Bree's journal painted a very different picture. She wrote about their deep emotional connection, their physical chemistry, and how their night together was actually planned and sober. Worse still, she detailed how they continued sleeping together during the first month of my relationship with Noah. There were entries about their intimate moments, not just sex, but deep conversations about their feelings for each other. Noah had apparently told her he was confused about his sexuality and wasn't sure if he was gay, bisexual, or just in love with her specifically. She wrote about how hard it was watching him date me while still sharing intimate moments with her. The most recent entry was from just last week, while I was staying at Matt's place. Bree wrote about how Noah kissed her one night, telling her he was still confused about his feelings and wasn't sure if he was making the right choice by moving in with me. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the journal. When Noah came out of the shower, I confronted him with it. At first, he tried to deny everything, claiming Bree had an overactive imagination. But when I started reading specific entries out loud, he broke down. He admitted that his relationship with Bree had always been more than friendship. They had been dancing around their feelings for years, occasionally crossing lines but never fully committing to each other. He said he genuinely fell for me and thought being with me would help him move on from Bree, but he couldn't ignore their connection. I felt like I was going to be sick. Every night they spent together, every time he dismissed my concerns, every moment I felt crazy for being jealous, it was all based on lies. Our entire relationship started while he was still involved with Bree, and he had been stringing us both along ever since. I called Matt to pick me up immediately. While I was waiting, Noah kept begging me to stay and talk things through. He promised to cut off all contact with Bree, even offering to move out that day. But how could I believe anything he said anymore? Later that night, Bree had the audacity to message me. She sent this long, self-righteous text about how sorry she was that I found out this way, but that she and Noah had a special connection that existed long before me. She actually suggested that maybe we could all sit down together and figure out some arrangement that would make everyone happy. As if I would ever agree to share my boyfriend with someone who helped him lie to me for months. I'm back at Matt's place now. My parents offered to let me move back home, but I can't handle their sympathy right now. They really like Noah, and I can't bear to explain to them how thoroughly I was fooled. Matt has been incredible through all of this, letting me cry and rant at all hours, making sure I eat, and never once saying I told you so even though he had expressed doubts about Noah and Bree's relationship from the start. I feel like such an idiot for ignoring all the red flags. Everyone in the comments of my first post warned me that something wasn't right, but I wanted so badly to believe Noah was different. Now I don't know what to do. Should I tell our mutual friends the truth about them? Should I just disappear and never look back? How do I even begin to trust anyone again after this? Update 2. After my last update, I realized I couldn't keep their deception to myself anymore. The weight of carrying their secret was eating me up inside. I decided to tell our mutual friends what happened, sending screenshots of the most revealing journal entries to our group chat. The responses were intense and divided. Some friends like Sarah and James immediately cut ties with Noah and Bree, disgusted by their manipulation. Others, particularly Noah's college friends, accused me of violating Bree's privacy by reading and sharing her journal entries. They said I was being vindictive and trying to ruin their reputations. But then something unexpected happened. A guy named Alex from Noah's workplace reached out to me through Instagram. He said he had dated Bree for 2 months last year when she claimed to be single. Their relationship ended suddenly when she said she wasn't ready for commitment. Alex told me he often saw her being unusually intimate with her gay best friend Noah, but whenever he questioned it, Bree would remind him that Noah was gay and he was being homophobic for suggesting otherwise. After Alex's message, 2 other guys came forward with similar stories. One had dated Bree for 3 months, another for 6 weeks. Both relationships ended the same way, with Bree pulling away while maintaining her intense friendship with Noah. Meanwhile, Noah would date men, using his friendship with Bree as proof that he was completely gay and not interested in women. The most eye-opening message came from Noah's ex-boyfriend Jake. He reached out saying he went through exactly what I did last year. Noah had given him the same excuses about Bree being just a friend and about being completely gay. Jake described identical patterns, the shared bed, the boundary crossing, the gaslighting when he expressed concerns. Jake eventually caught them being intimate and got the same story about Noah being confused about his sexuality. Armed with all this information, I confronted Noah one last time. Instead of his usual denials, he finally broke down and told the truth. He admitted that he and Bree had been in love since college but were both too scared to commit. They used other relationships as covers while maintaining their emotional and physical connection. He claimed he truly cared for me and Jake, but could never fully commit because of his unresolved feelings for Bree. A week after my confrontation, Noah and Bree made their relationship official on social media. They posted this long, self-righteous statement about finally embracing their truth and how they were tired of hiding their real feelings. They painted themselves as victims of societal pressure and fear, completely glossing over how many people they hurt along the way. What shocked me most was how many friends congratulated them. People who knew what they did to me, Jake, and others were suddenly celebrating their beautiful love story. Some even suggested that I should be happy for them finally finding the courage to be together. The whole situation has left me questioning everything I thought I knew about relationships and trust. Finding out I wasn't their first victim made me feel less stupid, but also more angry. This wasn't just confusion or mistakes, it was a calculated pattern of manipulation they had perfected over years. I've started looking for my own apartment now. Matt offered to let me stay with him until I find a place, but I need my own space to heal. I've also started attending a different LGBT support group, one where Noah and Bree don't go. It helps to connect with people who understand what it's like to explore your sexuality without manipulating others in the process. Noah still tries to reach out occasionally through mutual friends. He claims he wants to make amends and maintain a friendship. Bree has also tried contacting me, suggesting that we could all be friends now that everything is out in the open. Their lack of remorse is astounding. Some mutual friends keep pressuring me to forgive them, saying they were just scared and confused. But I can't see their behavior as anything but cruel and selfish. They didn't just lie to me, they orchestrated an elaborate deception that they had practiced on multiple people before me. I'm still processing all of this, but at least now I know I'm not crazy. All those instincts I ignored, all those red flags I dismissed, they were trying to warn me about exactly what was happening. I just wish I had listened sooner. Update 3: Last week, I had an unexpected encounter with Bree at my regular coffee shop. She spotted me and immediately walked over, looking distressed. She told me she and Noah were having serious problems. According to her, Noah was depressed, constantly talking about me, and regretting his decision to choose her. She suggested that maybe Noah and I could work things out since their relationship wasn't the fairy tale they expected. I simply picked up my coffee and walked away. Later that day, Noah started bombarding me with messages. He said choosing Bree was the biggest mistake of his life and that their relationship was toxic. He claimed he finally realized he was truly gay and that his feelings for Bree were just confusion stemming from their codependency. He begged for another chance, promising things would be different this time. Noah sent long paragraphs about how much he missed me, how he couldn't stop thinking about our plans together, and how empty his life felt without me. He even said he had started therapy to work through his sexuality and attachment issues. Part of me felt a twisted satisfaction seeing their perfect relationship crumble, but mostly I felt nothing. I replied with a single message telling him to never contact me again. I explained that his sexuality wasn't the issue, his dishonesty and manipulation were. I told him I hoped he would figure himself out, but it wouldn't be with me as his backup plan. The next day, Matt called to warn me that Noah and Bree were spreading a different version of events. They were telling people that I was harassing them, trying to break up their relationship, and couldn't accept that Noah had chosen Bree. Some of our mutual friends actually believed them and started sending me angry messages about letting go and moving on. That was the final straw. I posted everything, the journal screenshots, messages from their other exes, their own admissions of guilt, and the recent messages where they tried to get me back, in our friend group. Then I blocked everyone connected to them and deleted my social media accounts. I was done playing their games. I moved into my new apartment last week, and it feels like a fresh start. Matt and a few other true friends helped me move and have stuck by me throughout this mess. My new place is in a different part of town, far from their usual haunts. I've even started seeing someone new, casually and slowly, but it feels honest and real in a way things with Noah never did. Looking back, I realize that Noah and Bree are perfect for each other. They're both manipulative people who care more about their own desires than who they hurt along the way. They can continue their toxic cycle with each other or find new people to deceive. Either way, I'm done being part of their story. To everyone who told me to trust my gut in my first post, thank you. You were right. Sometimes the hardest part isn't losing someone you love, it's accepting that they were never who you thought they were in the first place. I'm focusing on building my own life now. I've thrown myself into my work, started taking boxing classes as an outlet for my anger, and am planning a trip with Matt and some friends. For the first time in months, I'm actually excited about the future. Some stories don't need a perfect ending, sometimes walking away is the best ending you can write for yourself.